We are live.
Hey, my name is Erica. I am the millennial.
I'm Angie the Gen Z.
And I'm Nano, the Gen Z.
Alright, so today we're going to be going over, I like to call it like a horror history. So like a period in time, like past our time or before our time, where there was like some sort of like traumatic event happening, or yeah, like a few examples are maybe like the plague, or you know, like some war, like experimentations going on. You know, dark history, or like the Pachuco riots. Have you guys heard of the Pachuco riots?
Or the
Pachuco?
Pachuco.
But you guys haven't
Is
heard
it
of them?
like, I'm thinking, never mind. I'm thinking the Zootsu riots, I don't know.
Yeah, those.
Those?
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, I know about
Pachuco,
them.
Zootsu, right?
Those are sick.
The like the riots that just happened, and they like injured a bunch and
It
killed
was
people.
really bad. Like,
It was really
in
bad.
LA. Yeah.
these grown white men, like, literally undressing these teenage Chicanos in the street too because of just the zoot suits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they still say those are like gang activities and
Well,
then
back
they also
then,
brought
it's
the
because
police and
they
stuff
had,
in it.
this was back when, like, there was, like, a really, like what's it called? Like, everybody had, like, a dress code. Even if it was inside, everybody had, like, a dress code. So you couldn't
They
wear
just want
this.
to like
And that was, like, at the time, was, like, really rebellious. Because this is, like, the first time you see, like females wearing suits.
even females wear zoot
If the
suits.
females were wearing
The
zoot
female
suits,
ones were sick too.
all of them are sick.
I know. I like zoot suits.
And because of that, these guys found it really disrespectful, and they just didn't like them because they're Mexican.
You mean the white guys?
But yeah, but also they just didn't like them because they're Mexican.
No, it's just because there were segregation going on in.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, you know, like that kind of topics is what I was like going for. And today Angie's gonna be telling us a little bit about a period in time that she found a little horrible.
did
Yeah,
you guys
Angie.
know
Huh.
that there was also like Mexican like segregated schools? And one of our former presidents, I forgot who, but he actually taught in one of those segregated schools in Texas.
You know what? It was in California. We were in this. So there was a Sepulveda Middle School,
Mm-hmm.
named after Francisco Sepulveda, one of the conquistadors.
And it's on Mexican,
over
right?
there, yeah,
I think it's
over
what
there in like Mexico, and it was predominantly just like Mexican students. I mean, obviously there was like other like ethnicities, so like Caucasians, Black, Asians, but mostly like Hispanic population there. And I just thought, and then like I didn't even realize it until one of our I think it was like a history teacher. He mentioned that, and I was like, this dude's right. Like, dang,
Like a lot of
like that's sad.
A lot of little Hispanic kids come here just, and the school is named after a conquistador.
A conquistador, yeah. I thought that was kind of like sad.
That is pretty sad, but
Yeah.
like what can you do?
I know.
It's already been named.
Either way, I'm still going to school, so it's like
Yeah, it's already been named. You can't
Yeah.
really change that.
I just thought that was funny.
was
when
pretty
you
funny,
said that, it reminded me. I'm like, dude, that's right, because we went to a literal like middle school named after a conquistador. And my ancestors were probably crying for like 3 years straight. They were probably like, nah,
Yeah.
like no, mija, that's
I
not
don't
the
know.
way.
Well, my parents said that. My parents had put you in that school, so.
My parents probably didn't realize it either. They probably didn't know either. And also, it was like the closest middle school there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even if they did realize, I feel like they probably wouldn't have cared because it's
Yeah.
the closest middle school.
they didn't.
Just like how this one's close. Yeah. The one
Yeah.
I went to. Okay.
Okay, Angie. Huh?
Okay.
Okay, all right, guys. Did you guys want to share a little bit about your week before we get started? Nana went back to school. Nana, how do you feel?
Oh, I've been back to school.
Huh?
It feels okay. I feel like we already talked about this because we already mentioned that I'm already a senior.
Oh, yeah?
Ugly.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I forget about things I talked to you about.
And it shows.
Yeah. Angie, what about you? What have you done? Something exciting? Something productive in life?
Crack.
Maybe.
Crack
Apart
cocaine.
from that?
Crack rocks.
Played Overwatch, I guess.
Okay,
You always play Overwatch.
that's pretty fun.
And-
All right, Angie.
Oh, okay.
Let's
Don't
get
let
to
me
the
continue
topic.
talking about it.
This is back to the
No,
topic.
we don't,
Angie.
we don't like you.
I don't like you either.
That's
Okay.
too bad.
So
So what do you have for us?
this,
Explain to us a little bit about your...
I am going to be talking about baby farming. Have you guys ever heard of baby farming?
Oh, I think you're gonna say baby
No.
farting.
Farming.
No, I never heard of
I know,
baby farming.
I know baby fat. With the PH. You know the brand?
No.
The silence is pretty loud, Erica.
It was a brand. Really? That's really surprising, especially considering that everything that was popular back then is coming back now.
I know what baby
Erica,
fat is.
It's not like that. Not every brand is like that. It's like Juicy, DC,
DC.
Juicy, DC.
No,
They
but
just
back
make
then-
concerns.
Most of the brands that are like becoming popular now
They
were not
popular
cool back then. Only like people
No.
that were
like Champion. Nobody wore Champion back then,
Nobody wore
and they
Champion.
would make fun
and
of
they
them.
were cheap,
Well, it's because
and they were being sold at
Champion was-
Walmart.
Yeah, Champion was a Walmart brand. When people thought of Champion, they thought of
Nobody
Walmart.
bought that, and now it's all expensive, and everybody wears it.
Hmm.
Nah, Champion's kind of going down in popularity now.
So
But
you gotta
I mean,
understand.
there was a period in time where
Yeah.
everybody wore it.
You gotta
Because
underst-
ugly feelers.
You gotta understand Erica's
Feeless.
like sadness.
No,
towards that.
I'm understanding it, but I'm like, that's a brand I never heard of. So I'm like, Erica, not every brand's like.
You never
coming
heard of
out
Baby
like that.
Fat?
Never heard of Baby Fat.
Never heard of Baby Fat. Really?
Never heard of Baby Fat.
You look fat.
Says you.
Okay, and you continue with your topic. No, Andrew,
Okay.
we haven't heard of baby farms. What is that? During what period of time did that happen?
So I'll just read it. It says there. So the term came to light in the late 19th and early 20th century. It referred to selling infant children for money due to most being from unwed mothers, prostitutes, deserted wives, and them being born with disabilities. Baby farming developed a terrible reputation after exposure of abuse and horrible death, which led the exposure to spread more by articles and newspapers and magazines. Luckily, by the 1920s, most states took action against the commercial practice, leading to its demise quickly. So, have you ever seen that photo? It was like circulating a while back. It's like an old photo, like in the 1904, let's say, of this lady on. She's like in front of her porch, and on the sidewalk, on the curb, are her kids, 3 kids, and on the sign it says "Kids for Sale."
No, I haven't.
That was
Never seen
really. You never seen it?
Never
But
seen
did
it.
you guys know that was really common? If you
No.
didn't want your kids because they were ugly, they were.
We would have all been
disabled.
sold.
I was about to say, Angie,
We would have all been
Shut
sold.
They were
Predominantly
disabled,
you guys.
or they were just like from
Okay,
mothers.
that's good genes.
Mothers that couldn't afford to take care of them. People would just leave them on the sidewalk with a sign. I'm pretty sure at some point there was also like bins you just place them in.
Like Goodwill?
Shut up.
Bro, stop.
And by the pound.
No, but
That's
yeah,
so messed up.
that was really common. People would sell them to like
To anybody who wanted them?
baby. Sometimes, but they were most likely put into baby farms.
Did you know that there's like certain monkeys that like steal other monkeys' babies just because they want to be mothers? Sorry, that's just like reminding me of that.
Yes. I didn't know about that, but that's really random. No. My silence
That's
was like,
just reminding
really-
me of that. My
I was
bad.
trying to process why you
I
were
think my
saying-
slow turn was also really loud in the silence.
Okay, Angie,
You make
continue.
everything-
Anyways.
But they're like these like not facilities. They're like these like they look like normal houses, right? Probably like a little bit bigger, and people would just drop them off. Sometimes
Orphanage?
you can like
foster homes, yeah, like
Yeah, like an
orphanages,
orphanage.
foster
kinda
homes.
no, not really,
like CPS.
Not
This like
really.
CPS back then.
not really,
No.
not really. Some places I know you can just drop off the kid and like just like leave. Some places I know that they will like buy your
fire
kid for you. No, they will buy the kid off of you.
Okay,
And they'll
so
take them in.
the difference is that they're actually like exchanging currency for this kid.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
though.
Well, I mean, kind of like
Sometimes.
when
You get
You know
paid for
what?
dropping off kids?
you know what, like if somebody were to like drop a kid off in the emergency room or the fire station, they
Mhm.
put him into like the orphanage, right?
Yeah.
But then people that want to adopt these kids, they do have to go through a lot of like financial checks and they have to pay money, and it's actually really quite expensive when you have to like
Well, this was
when,
back.
when you want to adopt a kid.
This is back then. You can literally just go up there. That was actually they would drop off the kids, right? And like people that were like wealthy families that weren't able to have kids themselves, they would go and buy a kid. Literally just had to meet up in a meeting, look at the kid, and be like, "Yeah, I want that one," and then
one
just
episode
pay
from
up
South Park?
forward.
Oh no, yeah.
Um,
Also, the difference probably is that back then they wouldn't do like checks,
Yeah,
like home checks. You know, that I
Mhm.
know that they do just to make sure that the kid's okay, and they wouldn't follow up with it.
oh yeah, they would.
It's kind of just like buying a puppy,
Yeah,
right?
basically.
Like you just like
It reminds
Basically,
me
I think.
puppy.
of
buying
the
a
South
puppy is-
Park episode.
Okay, well that's
You know
not
what I'm talking
relevant.
about?
No, I don't.
This is when people found out that they're locking up immigrants in like cages.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I
and
did
separating
see
them from
that.
their family.
Yeah,
It's like
Like dog
this
pound.
white family
It's pretty sad.
came in.
It was not funny, but like
that's pretty
And
sad.
he's like, this white family came in and they went to adopt a little Hispanic child, and it's like, oh, this is the Peruvian hairless, and like, oh, this one
And
over
the
here,
little
this one's
kid.
good.
little kids are like, ¿Dónde estoy? ¿Dónde está mi mamá y papá? And then the white people would always like respond like, muy
Gracias,
bien,
¿y tú?
gracias.
No, it's like gracias, y tú?
No,
And then
like,
they
muy
went
bien,
to
gracias.
they went to the Mexican kid, and it's like, it's one of the voice actors, but he was speaking Spanish, so he's like, mi mamá, mi papá, ¿dónde está? Gracias, y tú?
That's
funny,
pretty
you should
sad.
watch
That's
it.
pretty sad. But okay, let's go back on topic. No more. If Nano disrupts us again, we shun him.
We beat
No.
him.
We whip him.
What?
No.
We whip him. I pull
we
out my
beat
whip.
him. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And he has a whip app.
No,
I do.
whenever Nano interrupts, we pull a strand of hair off
Of his Lakers.
No.
of his actual hair.
His
I
Lakers.
will shave you.
We'll shave you, Nano.
Okay, let's continue. So at first, I guess these baby farms were okay, like they wouldn't cause harm to children. But later on, further into like the popularity of baby farms growing, they started to abuse the kids. But I'll get into that in a minute. So I'm gonna talk about one farm, and it was called the Finchley Baby Farm, and it was ran by two women. So I'm just gonna get right into the story. So Amelia Satch and Annie Walters were two British ladies in the early 1900s who operated a baby farm in East Finchley, London together. Amelia began to advertise that the kids could be left with them so they could later sell them.
Wait, hold on.
From-
Sorry, fun fact.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this till after, but I saw a TikTok that over there in like the Great Britain,
Mm-hmm.
they
The
have
Great
tea
Britain.
time.
Yeah, I know.
So what? I didn't
It's
know
like a
that.
fancy
I
time.
was like, I thought that was like so
And you
random.
get
and weird.
fined if you don't have it.
But see, my question is, how do they know when you don't have tea time?
A policeman comes.
Maybe
Does somebody
knock
there
on your
just
door.
like?
probably like all the streets are empty, or like if you're out, then you're having tea.
Yeah,
They
but
can
it's
see you
like
walking
if you're
by.
at home and you hear it, you're like, I'm not gonna drink
What
it.
if you're homeless?
I don't. Well, I mean, I don't know
State
about
governed
that.
tea.
Yeah. So like, what happened? I don't know. That's something.
I don't know, girl. That
That's
was
something
pretty.
I
That was
guess.
pretty.
That's pretty random. It's because you were talking about two women in
Girl.
London, and then I remembered. I'm like, tea time. Okay. Continue. Sorry. Continue.
I'm a whipper.
No, we know that's for Nano. Remember, we're
Okay.
whipping Nano.
Nah,
Okay.
Okay, go.
I have the app too.
Okay. From what they saw, the clients were always women who worked as servants from local houses who were impregnated by their employers and as well forced by said employers to give up the baby. These babies were later sold to people for only 25 or 30 pounds, which is not that much, I'm assuming.
How much is that in U.S. dollars?
Girl, I don't know.
The dollar is going down either way. So
Yeah, but that was back in the 1900s, so I guess that was like a lot.
Like you can like survive off like months for like with like $100 back then.
Yeah. So at first,
So that's still a lot. So
these ladies were only selling the children, so they would just take them, right? And of course, you're supposed to like feed them and stuff like that, keep them healthy
vaccinate them.
until a certain. Well, it was like the 1900s and early 1900s,
Making a dog reference.
I'm pretty sure there were vaccinations back then. No?
probably, but I don't.
Well, actually, never
No,
mind.
I think
Never
it's,
mind
like,
because
Drink herbs or something.
yeah, because then like, because when the polio vaccine came up, it was already like I think mid 1900s.
This was like 1903.
It's early 1900s.
Yeah, so then
Really
never
early.
mind. There were no vaccinations
So-
probably, or it's probably coming out. Go ahead.
At first,
In
these ladies were only selling the children, so like they would like they take them in, they would like take care of them for a bit. Then these wealthy families would come in and look at them, and like they would be sold off. But later on, they found out that it was easier to murder some of the children, because some were not being sold.
They euthanized them because they were overcrowded.
No, some were not being sold. Basically,
They were overcrowded.
some were not being
No,
sold.
not
They were
overcrowded.
overcrowded.
No, yeah, that's what I was saying. Because they were like
Desired?
disabled.
Families,
They were just not
They were
desired.
disabled,
Disabled,
seriously
disabled,
like ill.
They just
And-
weren't being sold.
Yeah. And
and they're not being
they
sold.
they just found it a hassle to just like take care of the baby and stuff like that when it's like ill. They're in their minds they're like we can't waste like, good products on something that's not good, basically. So Annie Walters began to pick up the children that were under this category of not being like good enough, supposedly, air quotes. Once they were given up, like immediately afterwards, she would give them poison or poison them. And she would poison them by giving them a mixture of chlorodyne, which was used as a medicine back then and even sold in bottles, but I'm pretty sure it was really poisonous. But like it's a child, so it's a baby, freshly out the womb.
So she basically just overdosed them.
Basically, she would inject them with it.
So there were there probably was vaccines then because they had syringes.
Pretty sure I think it was over the counter too, though.
Talking about the syringes, they would inject them.
And I don't know, man. Luckily, they were soon caught by their landlord, who also happened to be a police officer, because Annie Walters raised the suspicion of their landlords due to the amount of baby clothing being left behind. Because there's a lot of baby clothing, but not enough
Not enough cheering.
babies. You know what I mean? Because they were killing too many kids. The baby clothing being left behind at the place was also later used as evidence against them during their trial. And after being found guilty, both the women were sentenced to death, and both were hung at the same time.
Fire.
So yeah, that was baby farming was really famous. It began in like I think it began like 1903.
Why don't we just search it up?
Literally 1900, and then it ended 1920. So it took like a whole year,
time.
2 decades. That reminds me of another story that I also wrote down. Have you ever heard of the Butterbox babies?
No.
So it's kind of like the same thing, but a little bit more different.
Kind of. I have this book called The Hatbox Baby.
Yeah.
Kind of made me cry.
I read it.
It was pretty sad.
I read it.
You read
No,
it too?
yeah, I
it was kinda
did.
sad. It kind of when you said Butterbox, it reminded me of that.
The Hatbox.
Oh,
It
like
was-
the Hatbox Baby.
It was kind of like that, but
sad.
not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll just get into it. So, a maternity home operating in East Chester, Nova Scotia, Canada through the 1920s to the
That's a long
1940s.
name.
So, it was already like after it was like made illegal. They were just like on the down low. So it was ran by a midwife and a chiropractor. The maternity,
Chiropractors.
yeah,
Man, I hear bad things about them.
me too. I don't know
My dad
why
was supposed to take
he's
me to
helping.
one, but never went.
I don't know why he's helping out. It's a maternity home. But anyways, so it was called a maternity home because it promised maternity care for newlyweds and discreet birthing and placement for babies of unwed mothers.
Why does that remind me of the doctor from American Horror Story?
Which one?
The one that gave abortions.
Oh, probably.
Which one?
First season American Horror Story.
Is it
The
first season?
basement.
That's the
Remember
third. That's the
what's-
second season.
That's the first season.
What was the first? Oh yeah. No, the
You
first season
remember?
is Murder House.
Yes, Murder House. It happened in Murder House. It happened in their basement.
Okay.
Oh,
Anyways.
I remember now. Yes. One of the doctors that would.
The doctor and the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then their baby died, and so he made a new baby with other baby parts.
Okay. Anyways, once they saw them like the profit they were making, they later on began to steal the children from the mothers who did want to keep them. So they would come in for like a discreet birth, but they wanted the baby, but they would end up stealing them by claiming that the child had died during birth.
Dude, talking about that, did y'all see about the? This was a long time ago, but like the baby in was it in Atlanta? The doctor decapitated the baby.
Yeah, you told us.
told us about
Tell you
this.
already? Oh my god.
And they didn't tell the mom how the baby died.
Until
Yeah,
the baby went and saw it.
until the
Until
Until
she
the
saw
mom went
it.
and saw it.
The funeral home actually told them that the baby was decapitated, and they didn't even know why. Like they didn't even let like the mom like hold the baby when they came out.
Wasn't it because the baby was coming out, but it was too hard, so they gave it a C-section?
I think
Somehow
like
it
the
got
head
cut.
wouldn't fit.
They
were
wanted
pulling
they
too
wanted
hard.
a C-section. The mom wanted the C-section, but I guess the doctor didn't want to. So then they tried to keep pushing for like another like 3 hours or so, and then until they finally said, "Okay, we'll give you a C-section." But within those 3 hours, they were like trying to suction the baby out. They were like tugging and pulling.
So the head was already like in through the opening.
So yeah, I guess
Probably.
But I guess since it wasn't like big enough, it got caught while it was trying to get pulled out
like
from
the shoulders
C-section.
were probably
So,
stuck. So
Yeah.
then that's when they went in and did the C-section. Then they got the baby out, and they realized the baby's head was off.
That's
So,
horrible.
yeah,
I hope she sued or
dang.
something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're gonna get like a
There's
lot
some
of
sort
money.
of action, obviously.
Because
it'll be
Yeah, but,
apart
like-
from the doctor doing that, the
That's bad
hospital
practice too.
also like covered up.
That's
Or,
really
you
bad
know,
practice too.
That is bad practice, and then it looks bad on the hospital because then it's like, okay, if you have that kind of like doctors working there, like what other stuff did they do to other babies or to other mothers, like, you know? So that's pretty crazy. Sorry, that just reminded me of that. I'm like, dang, did y'all hear about
Yeah,
that?
you
That
told
was a
us.
long time.
Pretty sure, yeah.
That's crazy.
No, but yeah, that was pretty sad actually.
Not yet part of
No,
JoJo.
but these people would steal the babies, right?
hmm
They would tell the moms that the babies have died, but they were fine. It's just that they would like go and like hide them out somewhere else. And to make it worse, some of these women that did want to keep their baby, unfortunately didn't have enough money, and the only way that they could pay for the services was for them to like work as a servant there for a whole 8 months before being let off.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
So like right after birth,
So they would take their babies,
Mm-hmm.
and
and
then
they make them work.
make them work for the
Yeah.
baby.
No, not baby, they would make them work because
Oh,
they're
listening.
listening.
They were charging for their services. Right?
Yeah, and some of the mothers really couldn't afford it, so they're like, yeah, there's one way you can do it. Pay us back, and like that's how they did it.
By work by labor.
Mm-hmm. For whole 8
But
months.
would they keep the babies or would they
Oh yeah, they would
No.
keep the babies.
like the facility would keep the babies?
Yes.
Yes.
Dang.
I don't think it's a facility. It's more like it probably is like a basement or something.
So, the children they have raised for a while who did not meet their expectations after being stolen, when did not meet their expectations for sellings, were starved to death by only being fed molasses and water. And with
Whoa.
this diet, the babies would only last 2 weeks. Children who showed visible signs of disabilities, serious illnesses, or only slight darkness, discoloration, were immediately met with this fate, sadly. The babies who died were all disposed of by being placed in a small wooden grocery box, which was typically used for dairy products like butter. Thus the term butter box babies coming. These babies were buried at the premises of the maternity home, cremated, or dumped at sea.
Dang.
And luckily it did stop after a while, but they were caught and they were sentenced to jail.
Prosecuted?
Yeah, prosecuted. But
Why would they hung like the
Yeah.
other?
yeah,
The hangings probably stopped.
yeah.
It's whack.
You know, after a
This was
while
like
they
the
stopped hanging them.
2019. This was like after 1920s.
And then it
Through
stopped them from lynching
1940s.
people. And then it stopped them from lynching people.
I don't know. They're white.
With the other foods too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they were probably this was where because the first
was in Canada.
first women were in England.
That was in England. This was in
and this
Canada.
is in Canada, so they're different
And this
jurisdictions.
was like years later.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would take the babies if they were good, right? They would take the babies, seal them, say that they died, and then just tell the mom, be like, oh yeah, they died. You know, I'm sorry, but like we see that you can't really afford like your bill, so like you can do some labor for us for like 8 months, and then we'll like let you off.
But like, was this labor right after they gave birth?
Most likely. I mean, I'm pretty sure they give them some time to like heal up, but
Maybe
once they were
so hard
able
on
to
your
like get up,
body.
once they were able to get up on their feet and move around, they like had to do some labor. So most of the labor was like housework
Dang.
because there was like a whole
That
house
still suck.
and like a whole facility.
You know that over in Mexico, my mom would say that back then, like the women, they would actually take 40 days, like, and they would do nothing. They would
Yeah.
just lay in bed
Mom-
and like allow their body to recuperate.
Mhm.
And then here in the U.S., it's only like what, like after 2 days, like okay, go home with your kid, and then go ahead and start doing all your things. I mean, yeah, they give you maternity leave, but you're still expected to get up and do things. And then I know that there's also like different, like in other countries, that they're like Germany or Japan or something, but
Yeah.
the hospital stays like a week or so, and then they give you a lot longer maternity leave. I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
that must be nice.
Japan's also like 2 days.
Japan's also 2 days, so
Yeah.
then probably just in Germany. I saw a TikTok of this lady saying she gave birth in a different like a different country. She said that
Was it the Asian woman, the white guy?
I'm not sure.
I seen
No.
one like that. I think
But-
he's like Korean.
But she was saying that that the hospital stay there was supposed to be for like a week or so because they needed to make sure that she was okay and healing well and the baby was doing well
Hmm.
and that her body was really like he went through big stress. And you know what, birth is like really stressful for the baby and for the mother. Like I've
girl,
seen the lab results, like if you see the cells that you see in a baby in an adult, then you would probably be like calling like the pathologist to come look at the cells because that'd be just weird. Like the babies, like you can tell that the baby cells are going through a lot.
And girl, like you're
They'll be
being
really
like
stressed.
forcibly pushed out of like a tiny hole.
Yep.
I
And then the
thought
mom like
baby
loses a
got
lot
pushed
of
out whenever
blood
they're
too
ready.
sometimes.
Sometimes whenever they're ready. Sometimes
Mm.
they have to be induced to come out.
Okay.
Either way.
Yeah.
And it's really important for them to cry when they come out because they have like
That shows-
fluid.
Yeah, that shows that they're breathing.
No, because they have like fluid in their lungs. They have to like cry it out.
Yeah,
Even
that
if they're
shows that they're
breathing.
breathing.
You guys sounds like it sounds like you guys are experts in babies.
But that's what it
I will
is. You make sure
squish
the kids crying because that's how you know they're breathing.
Of course they can breathe. It's just that they still have fluid. They just have to cough it out basically. They have to like, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, my point was that I feel like here in the U.S. we need to what's it called, like give more recovery time and be more considerate because I feel like here in the U.S. like for it being like a first world country we have a lot we have a high like mortality rate in childbirths, and I feel like we shouldn't have that.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm done with the story.
You're done with your story, Angie?
We can like talk whatever we want now.
No, we can't talk about whatever now.
Okay, then.
Now, since you're done,
Yes.
and I'm done. I know, are you done?
I guess.
Okay, now that we're all done, I feel like it's time to say goodbye.
Yes.
All right, then I guess that's it for today. We'll see you guys. Hopefully, you guys join us next week here. Investor Thoughts. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.